got to give an update on what's going on with the Kyren Lacy situation, because I think that we really, really, really need to understand what's happening out here right now. We have a situation, first of all, that long-standing tropes, long-standing negative stereotypes, long-standing ideas about Black fathers, negative ideas. Basically, what we have been led to believe is that Black men don't take care of their kids, and we're here to debunk that. So shout out to the brother, the Medium Man. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, go check it out. The Medium Man, he got a lot of good information, and he uses statistics to debunk his points. He don't just be on here just talking. So we're going to get into that. That's the second half of this video, but that's the most important part. That's the crux of this video. But the first part of this video, the thing that we're about to get into, is an update. So last night, as I was preparing for this, I came across information about breaking news about the Kyren Lacy situation. And if you don't know who Kyren Lacy is, I give a quick update. Basically, months ago, Kyren Lacy was a young man who played football for LSU, Louisiana State University. He was a wide receiver for LSU. Allegedly, Kyren caused a car accident that claimed the life of a 71-year-old white man. Allegedly. And so the police officer framed Kyren Lacy as the culprit to causing the accident and causing the death of the man and fleeing the scene. And then from there, Kyren subsequently ended up taking his life because of the situation. So we're about to get into that, but we have an update on basically from Kyren Lacy's lawyer showing us that they lied on that young man. That young man could still be alive today. That young man, his career and his life was taken from him because he was framed by a police officer. So we're about to get into that. And then we're going to get into this fatherhood thing, debunking these lies about Black fatherhood. So y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. I know this is a pop-up Sunday, but we got to get into it. We got information that we got to give. So first thing I'm going to play is, I covered the Kyren Lacy situation couple months ago. So that's the first thing we're going to play. We're going to play my coverage of the Kyren Lacy situation, and then we're going to get into the update from the lawyer. So that's how we're doing it. Then we're getting into debunking this fatherhood stuff. So let's do this. This next story is a tragic story. It's a sad story. It's a bad story that ended up worse. So let's get into it. Subscribe to Pink Book Lessons as well. I'm gonna put the link to her
and welcome
channel
back to the Factor.
in the
Since the
description.
former LSU football player who was facing criminal charges has died in the Houston area. Harris County deputies say 24-year-old Kyren Lacy killed himself during a chase Saturday night in Spring. Lacy was accused of causing a deadly crash in December and leaving the scene without calling police. Separate incident there. Records show he turned himself involvement, stopped his prospects. Joining us to talk about this tonight, therapist Dr. Jasmine Boone, former athlete Lamarcus Newman, and former LSU athlete Kobe Fontenot.
So before they get into their discussion, let me give you some more details. So former LSU receiver Kyren Lacy, who was found dead Saturday night in Houston, died in an apparent self-deletion in his car while being pursued by authorities, according to a Harris County Sheriff's report released on Sunday. According to Harris County authorities, police responded to a call from a female family member who said Lacy had discharged a firearm into the ground during a verbal argument late Saturday night. When they arrived on the scene, they learned that the suspect Lacy had fled in a vehicle. Authorities said their pursuit of Lacy ended when he crashed. They say that when officers approached the vehicle to extract Lacy, he had died from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Lacy was 24 years old, was pronounced dead on the scene by emergency responders. He had been facing criminal charges stemming from a fatal car accident in Louisiana in December. That's what they were just talking about in the clip. We're saddened to learn of the tragic passing of former LSU football student athlete Kyren Lacy. LSU said in a statement, "Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and loved ones, as well as his former teammates and coaches impacted by his passing." In the social media post Sunday, Lacy's father, Kenny Lacy, urged parents to check on their children's mental health from an early age. Our lives have changed forever, and this will never be okay. But God needed my baby more than he was needed here. Kenny Lacy wrote on Facebook, "This has to be the biggest pill our families had to swallow, but I know love and compassion in our families will get us through." Kyren Lacy was accused of crashing a car that killed a 78-year-old man on December 17th and then fleeing the scene without rendering aid or calling authorities. On January 12th, he turned himself in to authorities and was jailed and then released on a $151,000 bail, according to the police. The Lafortier, Louisiana Parish Sheriff Office records indicated that Lacy was charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. A grand jury was to begin hearing evidence in the case on Monday, so he was about to go to trial. Got to argument, shot into the ground from his gun, got in the car, fled, police chasing him. By the time they got up with him in the car crash, they found out he's eliminated himself, right? It is with profound sorrow that we confirm the tragic passing of Kyren Lacy. First and foremost, that we ask the public and the media give this family the space and time they need to give this unimaginable loss and peace. That's from the attorney. He declared himself for the draft on December 19th. So, and that was 2 days after the initial car crash. So this is an unfortunate incident that happened in Houston, and the young man lost his life. Of course, we're gonna have to stay on this story and get more details to find out more, but some are attributing it to a mental health issue. Or most of the sources that I've come across are attributing it to a mental health issue. Of course, I have to find out a lot more about that, and I will, but this is not good and a sad situation, especially for the Lacy family. So that was my video a couple months ago, maybe a month or two ago, when the Kyren Lacy situation actually happened, right? And so, as I said, I'll bring you more information. And hey, I have more information. Updating, well, I guess you could say breaking news came out last night. And, it's all over social media. So I decided, I want to make sure I give an update on this, because this is another log on the fire showing how systematic racism works. A young black man was framed for taking out an elderly white man when he had nothing to do with it. Like Fair Use, thank you for your comment. Fair Use, thank you for being here. The wreck happened before he drove by. Kyren Lacy had nothing to do with that wreck, but the police officer framed him anyway, and all that stuff is being exposed by the lawyer. So let me share my screen so we can get into it with this video of actually it's already, let me add it to the stage. This is the video of the lawyer. This is somebody put this video together of the lawyer giving information about what actually happened in the Kyren Lacy situation. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share for this Sunday pop-up. But we got to get the truth out. We're debunking two things here. Two things we're debunking today. One, we're exposing the truth about what happened with Kyren Lacy. And two, we're debunking the lies about black fathers, because black fathers are present in their children's lives at large for the most part. Right now, how you doing this morning? Good morning, how you doing? Thank you for being here. So let's go ahead and get into this video that was put together showing Kyren Lacy's lawyer explaining the information that is showing that Kyren is innocent. Make sure y'all hit that like button, please.
Kyren Lacy was supposed to be the next big wide receiver out of LSU, a 6'2" deep threat with speed, coming off his best season yet. Scouts had him pegged as a mid-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. But on December 17th, 2024, police say Lacy caused a devastating car crash in Louisiana that killed a 78-year-old man. Investigators say he was driving recklessly, speeding and making an illegal pass in a no-passing zone. Worst of all, they claim he fled the scene without stopping or calling for help. The fallout was immediate. Prosecutors issued an arrest warrant, charging him with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. Lacy turned himself in, posted a $151,000 bond, and waited for his day in court. But while he was free, his football career collapsed. NFL teams backed away. Scouts stopped calling.
Shout out to you right now.
Combine, he was preparing for trial. On April 12, 2025, just 2 days before a grand jury was set to hear his case, police say Lacy got into an argument with a family member in Houston, Texas. He fired a gun to the ground and fled in his car. Officers chased him, and when the pursuit ended, they found him dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. In the wake of his death, his legal team pushed back. His attorney, Matt Orey, released a huge statement, called the entire investigation a witch hunt, saying it was overzealous and targeted, driven by public perception, not facts. And the evidence would have led to a declination of charges by the grand jury. His lawyer spoke out more today and released the footage of the crash. And Kyren is really far from this crash, bro. I'm gonna watch this full video of his lawyer speaking. Stick around for the full video. Let's go.
And olvida todo lo que sabía sobre los juegos de guerra. El juego de acción a gran escala War Thunder te traerá una tormenta.
Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming.
Let's see what he's saying now.
Did you compile anything new? I've got everything. I've got every piece of evidence I have viewed. I've examined every piece of evidence, which includes all surveillance, all body cam footage, and most importantly, the investigative report that was generated and manufactured by the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office, according to the data that they obtained. At the entirety of the District Attorney's findings, their findings after their own investigation. That's what we're here today to present. We're going to compare and contrast those findings with the findings of state police, because there's a ton of confusion. People seem to believe that somehow he hit someone in this accident, or possibly even shot through two cars and there was this explosion behind him. I've heard every version possible.
This is true. The public perception right now of Kyren Lacy for some people is that he straight up caused this huge accident and just left him in the dust.
Yeah, so what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Battery. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr.
And remember, Kyren Lacy is in the bright green car. So when you're looking at the top left corner of the screen, Kyren Lacy is in the bright green car that you're going to see coming to the screen, because you've just seen the crash. You've just seen the crash. Now watch the bright green car coming to the screen after the crash, just like Fair Use is saying.
You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
That's Kyren Lacy's car here. This lime green car here is Kyren Lacy's car, and the accident has already happened.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Pretty far, right?
That's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did in fact pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars.
Further north, so behind Kyren, he passed cars behind him that were on the video that we just saw. Obviously not the cars in front of him. He didn't attempt to pass them yet.
He was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards, back in his lane behind Mr. Hall.
Did you hear that? Back in his lane, 92 yards behind Mr. Hall. 92 yards is far as shit. That's a football field. I know it's kind of crazy to say this, but think about how long a football field is.
At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with state police in this matter, their investigations. And in that investigation, it shows that he was back in his correct lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Before this incident occurred, he was back in his lane.
I mean, I really don't understand how he was charged in this. 92 yards is far as shit, even in a car, in my opinion. And they're all traveling like, it looks like 30 to 40 miles per hour.
Law state about where you should.
If we say racism, would we be wrong? I'm just saying. White cop, white older black man. If we say racism, would we be wrong?
Be behind, or I want to say I thought it was 100 feet. Is that correct?
It is correct. You know, take out the fact here that it's a no passing zone. If it weren't at this time, it's 100 feet. What we know now is he was 3 times legally what he needed to be back in his lane of traffic.
Obviously, he shouldn't have been passing on a no passing zone. And that's what the lawyer pointed out there, but this is insane to me.
What you see here is vehicle 3. That is Mr. Hall's vehicle. This is another vehicle between Mr. Lacy and Mr. Hall. This is the gold truck that's referenced in the report. This is heading north. So this is the lead vehicle heading north. And the vehicle that actually collided with Mr. Hall's vehicle, that would be vehicle 2.
So gold truck's in front of vehicle 2 on this side.
Vehicle 2 was tailgating, all right? According to the data, again, of the district attorney's office, not me, according to their data, tailgating at 49.6 miles an hour, 0.5 seconds behind the gold truck, 1.5 seconds before the crash. So again, if that did make sense, she is following 0.5 seconds behind this vehicle, 0.5 seconds behind that vehicle, 1.5 seconds before the crash at over 49 miles an hour. 0.5. When this woman was in the ambulance, they issued her a ticket. All right. You know for what? Take a wild guess. Following too close. Another trooper comes and is looking for that particular ticket. And that ticket, something may happen to the ticket. Don't worry about it. Sure enough, something happened to that ticket down the road, right? The ticket now needs to fit a better narrative. And that ticket now says crossing left of center. Why? Why? The black box is telling me. The data from the district attorney's office tells me you're traveling 0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour, 1.5 seconds before the accident.
That's very sus. Changing it to a different ticket. When does that?
Well, that lets you know if the ticket is if it's being changed to a whole nother ticket, that's because they're trying to cover their butts to frame this man. They're framing the black man. Going as far as changing tickets, and we know it's even more than that, but I mean everything that's being laid out so far sound like a framing to me, because it's easy to frame the black man, right? It's always Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. Always.
Whatever happened, that's very suspect, right?
That data in that vehicle shows me 5 seconds previous to this crash. 5. I'm looking at it and you're going to show it. 5 seconds previous to this crash, she maintained a speed of 49.6 miles an hour, never activating the EBS system until 0.5 seconds before the crash. Why is that important? Because if your story, which we'll get into, keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you had all this time to see the gold truck, in her words, stomp on their brakes, slam on their brakes, come to a stop, veer off the road. I see another vehicle approaching. I see the Charger approaching. Well, my question to you now becomes, how did you see that vehicle approaching, or him stop, or him slam on his brakes, yet your data says you never touched your brake prior to 0.5 seconds before that crash? I'm looking right now. So are you at the last.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
That's all that
just
is
by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
5 seconds, according to her. Her core is black box. Not mine, not my expert. That's her core. So if you're going to tell me a 5 to 10 second elaborate story, it needs to make sense.
Interesting. So he's saying if you saw Kyren's car, and this is why you caused the accident, is because of Kyren.
Right.
Passing a lane in front of you, coming at you. Why did he react so late? Because wasn't he already back in the lane at this time too?
And when you have the data, not only doesn't it add up, it's not possible. Notice on there, Morton, it says 75 degrees.
It's easy to put it on someone like Kyren. It's easy. And it's unfortunate that he's not here anymore. Fair use. You already know. And I believe the driver of the car was a white woman. I could be wrong, but I believe the driver of the car was a white woman. So the older white man's life was claimed by a white woman, but it ultimately led to the young black man being framed and his life being taken. He's not here anymore because of being framed from this, and he had nothing to do with it. Way more evil than smart. Fair use. That is the quote. I'm gonna put a star by that. That is the quote of the day. That's what I'm talking about. That's the comment of the day right there.
Right. You turn 75 degrees to the left all of a sudden.
That's a pretty hard turn to the left.
It's a very hard turn to the left. The gold truck, the lead vehicle in oncoming traffic, who, by the way, is probably one of the two most important witnesses in this entire case.
100%. He's the vehicle in the front. And the oncoming traffic from Kyren.
We know now that 2.99 seconds prior to him pulling off the road, he was traveling 28 miles an hour.
That's very slow.
But let's be very clear right now for the intent and purposes of what we're doing. There are two vehicles that we're talking about right now that are traveling north. The second vehicle in oncoming traffic, which is vehicle 2, their data says she is tailgating. She is.
I believe she was a white woman. I believe. Yeah. But we know them. We know how they get down.
0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour, 1.5 seconds before the crash. And you saw her data, 50.3 to 49.6.
Yeah, so she stayed at 49.6 until 0.5 seconds, and then
there's a variation of less than a mile per hour. He says upon reviewing the body cam video of the trooper from the scene, the following statement was made by, we'll call her vehicle 2, right? I just know the truck was stomping on brakes. The other was trying to pass the other car. I was trying to dodge by not hitting him, by coming around. When the trooper asked how fast she was going, she replied the speed limit. He next says, I reviewed the recorded interview and the written statement from vehicle 2. while she was in the hospital on January 3rd, 2025. Below is a synopsis of that interview. In the very first, it says, all I can see is that a car is coming this way and the car in front of me, right before the crash. I'm looking at the pickup truck in front of me. That's all they see for the moment. I'm eating my Funyuns. I got in the middle of my lap and I'm driving. I'm listening to my music. All of a sudden, I see the car getting the other person's lane. The truck, in quote, steps on his brakes.
Hold on. Back that up just a bit to listen closely to what is being said. It's being read, rather.
I got in the middle of my lap and I'm driving. I'm listening to my music. All of a sudden, I see the car getting the other person's lane. The truck, in quote, steps on his brakes.
Because I want the part about the funny. Said something about in the lap. Hold on. I want to make sure we got that.
2025. Below is a synopsis of that interview. In the very first, it says, all I can see is that a car is coming this way and the car in front of me, right before the crash. I'm looking at the pickup truck in front of me. That's all they see for the moment. I'm eating my Funyuns. I got in the middle of my lap and I'm driving. I'm listening to my music. All of a sudden, I see the car getting the other person's lane. The truck, in quote, steps on his brakes. First, so it slows down. But then he does it again, and this time it's really hard. That's when you can see on the other side, the car is trying to get back over. But before he can get over, the truck stops in the middle, like on the brakes hard. There's another car that runs damn near into the pole. It's either I run into him or I try to get out the way. So I'm trying to get to the dollar store parking lot. Then the other car just comes and slams into me. The trooper asks vehicle 2, whenever you're looking forward, or the cars in front of you, they swerve off to the right before you make your left, or you're looking at green Charger coming at you. Or, in end of quotes, vehicle 2 responded with the green Charger came, and then the car behind me, behind them, the truck, the van, whatever. The trooper does not ask any further follow-up questions to get a better understanding of what she was saying for this answer. Now remember, I'm reading what the investigator's saying. When vehicle 2 states the truck stops in the middle of the road, like on the brakes hard, this statement indicates that the gold truck stopped in the middle of the lane and not, in quotes, swerving off to the right. This would also show that vehicle 2 would have steered to the left to avoid contact with the gold truck and not Kyren Lacy. During this interview with the trooper, Vehicle 2 made several statements that do not match the submitted report or written statement. Instead of questioning Vehicle 2 for more details, the trooper attempted to recap what she was saying, which seems to contradict her statements.
Yeah, her statements were all over the place just now. That was so confusing.
While doing this, the trooper is the first to talk about the gold truck swerving off to the right. Then when it came to obtaining the written statement, the trooper tells Vehicle 2 what to document on the statement as she is writing.
The trooper tells her what to write? Is that what he just said?
Do we have any data
what he just said
on the gold truck?
2.99 seconds before the gold truck eases off to the road, eases off of the road.
Right.
He's traveling at 28 miles an hour.
Right.
That all is in this report.
Yeah, that's my question.
You watch someone slam on their brakes. You watch them stop. You watched a car chart coming at you in your lane of traffic, but you never thought to just tap the brakes? Really? Data is accurate. The black box is accurate. That says that you never touch your brakes. You never touch your brakes in the last 5 seconds until 0.5 seconds before the impact. That's their data. It's not mine.
Yeah, it really doesn't add up or make sense.
Man, that's crazy. Like they conspire. They're literally conspiring against Kyren Lacy. We literally have the evidence of them conspiring against him to set him up and make him take the blame for an elderly man losing his life because this lady didn't have her stuff together. That's crazy. Like actually literally working with the police. Like, well, let me say it again. The police is actually working with her to conspire against Kyren Lacy. Wow. But that's what they do. Would you say fair use? They way more evil than smart.
That she reacted so late. And she was eating Funyuns?
I'm looking at that gold truck. I want to know what they said, when they said it, what were the circumstances, how did this come about? And this is where it really starts tying together. The very first one, what I noticed on the body cam was that the conversation was going on for 4 minutes and approximately 30 seconds prior to the body cam being activated. And of course, when the body cam's activated, I don't know what you said those previous 4.5 minutes.
I'm going to be honest. Why are police officers allowed to turn body cam on and off? That should be like a law that body.
You're not just a homeowner. You're also a
disturbingly low disposal
owner. He must be on if they're on the clock.
I didn't know that.
Honestly. There's a gold truck guy.
All right, sir.
So this is a guy that was in front of vehicle 2 that could clearly see Kyren's green Charger.
Look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name and address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, me and my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes like you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's
Why is this officer telling him what to add in there? Is that how this works? That's not how it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah,
that's the whole point of witnesses is to let them write what they saw.
Racism.
Now this guy could be a tainted witness, right? I mean, he just literally told him what to write.
That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what was happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. Not in it.
So she calls that wreck. The lady that ran in the back.
Hold up. We finna let Unc say that again. Finna let Unc say that one more time.
Witness, right? I mean, he just literally told him what to write.
That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what was happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. Not in it.
So she calls that wreck. The lady that ran in the back of me, the person behind him. I think that's what he's saying.
Oh no, that's not that we don't think that's what he said. That's what we heard him say. I just ran it back. He said that. The OG said the lady behind him caused that wreck. And that's on the body cam, but yet Kyren Lacy is still what? Come on, man. Racism at its finest, man. The systematic stuff. This systematic stuff ain't over. It don't stop. We will always be targeted.
But the charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement.
See, they still looking
and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a charger.
All right, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes
So when they start, oh my bad, they white. They've been doing that. They are the slave patrol. Slave patrol been doing that.
And to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's
crazy. He's telling him what to write in a witness statement.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says.
That lady.
And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what was happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. Not in it.
See? I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side.
Boom. It seems like the lady behind this Gold Truck guy was eating Funyuns and probably fucking dropped them and swerved or something.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what was written down, right? She wasn't paying attention, eating her Funyuns with her little dirty hands and her little stank breath, listening to her little music, not paying attention, speeding, and to avoid the Gold Truck, she ended up running into the elderly man, taking his life and blaming it on Kyren Lacy. And then the police, the little punk ass police officers are working to conspire against goddamn on Kyren Lacy. Kyren Lacy was literally framed by the police. Framed by the police. That's crazy. It's not crazy, but it's just a reminder of the system that we're dealing with, because we're crazy to believe that they won't do stuff like that.
Dude, honestly, that's what it seems like. Kyren was illegally passing before 100 yards away.
Right.
But that doesn't mean he caused an accident 100 yards away. It's just literally like he was in the wrong place, the wrong time almost.
I then obtained
crazy right now
the actual written statement.
And this is from the Gold Truck.
This is the Gold Truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is Gold Truck number one in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed, it's refused. But you see, when I have a witness who is the most critical, and he's telling you, I wasn't traveling fast. We know now that he wasn't. The data shows 2.99 seconds before that he was traveling 28.
When too much work bogs you down, Asana helps you handle it. That's because
8 miles an hour. The data shows that. Now he corroborates that. And he goes on to say, I didn't even make a skid mark. That woman behind me, she caused that accident. And you give me this statement that is refused, I got a problem.
So I guess the gold truck guy's wife wrote it.
I'm just saying, if it looked like shit and it smelled like shit, it got all the elements of shit, then I think we dealing with some bullshit. I'm just saying, we're not crazy. We heard what we heard. You had him, you coerced him to write down what you wanted him to write down. He didn't sign it, but we heard what he said, which doesn't match what was written that you wanted him to write down. Just evil all across the board. Systematic racism at its finest.
If I were to guess, remember he said his wife was going to do it on the video, and she refused to sign it, which is a red flag. As a witness, you have the right to refuse to sign a written statement, especially at the scene of an accident. Possible reasons include disagreement with the written account. You may disagree with how the police officer summarized or transcribed your account of the crash. You may be worried that the statement could be used against you or another party in a way you do not intend. Or this officer wrote this shit.
I got a problem with that. A big one. What he's saying is she had to avoid hitting him. He specifically stated she caused that accident. But I've got an affidavit for arrest warrant right here. Nowhere in here does it say anything that you guys just saw on body cam. To the contrary, about that vehicle, it says the gold truck took evasive action by emergency braking and driving off the roadway to avoid a head-on crash. But you just heard he said, I wasn't even going fast. I didn't even skid mark. So what emergency braking are we referring to here?
Wasn't he going 20 miles per hour? That's horseshit.
It was the emergency lies that they had to come up with. They had to pull something out of their butts. They had to pull something out of their butts to blame the black man, right? Because that's the theme of this whole video today is blaming the black man. The black man is always the problem. It's always the black man. It's always the black man. It's always Jermaine. It's always Jermaine. But we debunking these lies today. We debunking all these lies today.
And what the hell was the point of this report? It is complete opposite.
So let's read this. Highway 20, green Charger coming head on, passing multiple cars coming head on. I had to slam on the brakes to avoid accident. I had to veer off road to avoid getting hit. Then I stopped to check on the cars behind me in the wreck. I was traveling north. The Charger was traveling south in wrong lane, 92 yards away.
She didn't say what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And
So, but the Charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam when you brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this Charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here. Okay.
So is something going to happen to this officer? Because it's all captured. We got all the evidence of you coercing this man to create a statement that was not true. Everything that was written down is not what he said. Like, we got him verbalizing what actually happened. So is something going to happen to the officer? And what happens to the woman who actually caused the wreck? Because there's no bringing back Kyren Lacy. His family need to sue the hell out of everybody involved. Everybody involved need to pay up $25 million. $25 million for every year Kyren Lacy was alive. Run them their money. They need to sue the stew off them people. I'm talking about sue the pants off these people. Sue them so the next 10 generations of everybody involved will live in abject poverty and have to eat bugs off the ground. Because that's despicable. They need to drink, pee, and eat bugs. That's the future that their whole families need to be relegated to, drinking pee and eating bugs.
By the way, the body cam wasn't on for this statement. It was turned off before obtaining this statement. And this is what we get back in the file. This is where Kyren passed, right? He comes here, he passes. He gets back in his lane.
Okay, so these are the 4 cars he passed north, and he's traveling south. He's traveling this way, obviously.
Don't you know that one of these witnesses that's in this package actually says in his statement that the Charger passed through the vehicle of Mr. Hall and the gold truck and vehicle 2, and then they collided.
Oh, come on.
I can't make this up.
That witness is on fucking drugs. What are they saying? He was so far behind the accident, he did not pass through the cars to cause the accident. This is why witness testimony can be picked apart by lawyers in court, bro.
Come on, man. Let's not act like we don't understand why the witness said that. Let's just go ahead and put 2 and 2 together. The police officers told the witness to say that. Allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly. Allegedly, the police officers coerced the witnesses to say that. Because that looks like the pattern that's happening here.
This is what people just don't get to see.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not saying this intentional. I'm saying people commit to a story and they don't back down. You saw it here, but I'm telling you, you guys saw a video. You just saw a statement where somebody tells them what to say. They tell them that's not what happened. They still give me the statement.
He's not wrong. This is ridiculous. I can't believe they charged him with this.
And now I got another individual who we won't harp into here because it's so uncredible, right? That one individual, one of the 4 individuals here, they say that they were going 30 to 35 miles an hour when Kyren passed him. He did. There's no disputing that. No one ever did, but he was back in his lane of travel. 92.3 yards back in, 72.6 at the time of impact. When they collide, he is 72.6. Before they collide, he is almost a football field away back in his lane.
I love how he's saying football field too. It's like the easiest way to
basically
really get the grasp of how far that is. The pass was 92 yards away.
So he had basically, think about a whole football field. If you've been to a football field, so by the time the crash happens, he's a whole football field away. That's plenty of time for him to stop. If he has to brake, he has to do like an emergency brake. That's plenty of time for him to stop. Think about how long a football field is. I'm sure all of us have been to a football field before. You've been to a high school field. You've been to a college field. You've probably been to a pro field. Think how long a football field is and think how much time and room that is to stop. Kyren Lacy had nothing to do with that, but framed by the police.
Even in a car, I know people are gonna say it's in a car. The people he's passing are going 30 miles per hour.
That's not disputed. What you can see is another car come to a stop, and then Kyren Lacy come to a stop. But you know what's really interesting to me as well is that there was another passenger in Kyren Lacy's car. They knew this. They have video footage of this individual getting out of the car. Why didn't you ascertain his identity? Why would you not want to hear the person with one of the best views of this incident? Why would you make a call? Why would you simply not bring him in for questioning?
Probably because it didn't fit their narrative, or I would imagine that guy didn't want to speak to the police. Probably Kyren's friend or family member. They're probably like, fuck this.
Or you talked to him after?
Of course I talked to him after. It's exactly what they said.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they said. They actually thought at one point in time that she collided with the gold truck.
Right.
That's the very first thing they told me, that they thought that this vehicle 2, was trying to get around the 2, as in slide between them, as in,
Dude, I think the girl behind the gold truck caused this accident.
She did.
Like, straight up, that's what it seems like. She had Funyuns.
The white, and I believe she's a white woman, the white woman in the car, and the Funyun, we're going to call her Funyuns. Funyuns caused the wreck. All the evidence that's been presented so far shows that Funyuns caused the wreck.
And she swerves left out of nowhere into oncoming traffic.
The very last line of the report from the district attorney's office says, the evidence submitted in the crash report does not support that Kyren Lacy should have known that his actions were the cause of the crash that happened approximately 72 yards in front of him.
So why was he charged? What the fuck is this? That basically just says he's innocent right there.
And what we know is,
I smell racism. Y'all smell that? I know you smell it. I smell racism. I smell low-hanging fruit, easy to blame, and they did.
We never disputed ever that he passed those vehicles. They were in a row, 4 vehicles in a row. We know they were going 30 to 35 miles an hour. He passed them. It was a no passing zone, but he got back in 92.3 yards. He was back in his lane of travel. He was 72 yards behind at the time of impact. We know that now. He was actually the second car to pull up behind, not even the first. At no point in time did he have to slam his brakes. He wasn't even close to the second car.
Dude, this is bullshit. How was he charged for this? If this actually went to trial, he would have been acquitted so quick.
He just eased in. He eased in. He went straight from there to the facility in Schriever for his football practice.
Now, he should have probably stopped and checked on people.
Had no idea he caused this accident because he didn't think he caused the accident.
Right.
He didn't cause the accident.
Right.
Did he? Did he just get through and take off like they suggested? You and I read reports earlier. We're looking at all news reports where they say he actually collided with a vehicle.
They did.
They actually said he fled a scene. They actually said he came back to the scene. Do you know how preposterous that is? None of that's true. And he sure as hell never split the difference and barely got through, and then there was some big explosion. That's not what happened. Kyren Lacy passed 4 vehicles. There's no question, in a row.
But
nobody ever disputed that. But it's now undisputed that he got back in.
Is the reason for
92.3 yards. Now, interestingly enough, the report indicates that at 120.4 yards, he was already entering back into the lane, right?
120 yards, he was already getting back in the lane after passing and then pass in. 120 yards. That's a full football field, including the end zones.
They reference that is they say in this report, the district attorney's office, their investigation yielded that at that time, Kyren and vehicle number 2, all right, 1.5 seconds before the accident, or 120.4 yards apart.
So it said 120.4 yards, not feet.
This is yards. This is not feet.
It's a big difference.
The only footage we have discussed, you and I today, is what's legally required when you pass a vehicle.
100 feet.
You have to be back in your lane of traffic 100 feet. He was over 300 feet. I'll be the first to admit that particular law does not say when you're in a no passing zone. Be clear. He passed 4 vehicles in a no passing zone.
Yeah.
Never been disputed, not once.
We're acknowledging that.
Definitely should not have been doing that. I admit I've done that once or twice in my day,
so.
for sure. If there's a car going slow shit, but I don't think 4 cars. 4 cars is kind of crazy.
So that's pretty much it on that. That's enough on that one. But